Our course is divided into 5 different units that follow along 5 historical eras or epochs. We're beginning with the ancient period, and then we'll be moving to the medieval, then to the modern, and then to the postmodern, and then to the contemporary period, to our period today. So beginning with the ancient, roughly what time period is this? It covers a good 1,000 years. I'm going to say it's roughly from 600 BC to 600 AD. That's somewhat arbitrary, but not entirely. You know, you might think that dividing up history into historical eras like this, into these sort of bite-sized chunks, is just some kind of convention that is useful for historians and other scholars. But that's not quite true. We divide eras up the way that we do because we see something distinct about each of the eras in distinction from one another. I mean, there's some characteristic of the ancient period that sets it apart from the medieval. There's a recognizably modern way of thinking, and that differs from postmodern ways of thinking and so forth. So, how does the ancient period set itself apart from, say, the medieval period, or the stretch of time coming before it? I'm calling this period the period of awakening and speculation. I think by any measure, on anyone's reckoning, it's a title that is aptly deserved by this period in time. Just think of what's going on during this stretch. You've got the cultural apex of Greece, of Rome. You've got the literary achievements going on during that time. You've got the awakening of philosophy with people like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, all wandering around the same small patch of earth at the same time. You've got religious founders like the Buddha, Confucius, Jesus, and the movements that they spawned all emerging during this period. So it's a truly remarkable time in the history of the world. What sets it apart, I think, is that you see a dramatic upsurge in the religious and philosophical awareness of these individual thinkers and a real attempt to understand, theoretically, what their beliefs about the world and human nature mean for the way that life should be organized. In philosophical jargon, we're looking at ancient metaphysics and ethics. But I want to say something quickly about what ethics means here, because I think to modern people like us, when we hear the word ethics, we're automatically drawn towards a sort of rule set or a template for human conduct or behavior. We think of ethics as a series of rules governing what we should do, what's the right thing to do in certain circumstances, what's the wrong thing to do in certain circumstances, and so on. Now, the ancient philosophers and religious figures were, of course, concerned with human conduct, right and wrong. But that is a much too narrow understanding of ethics from an ancient point of view. For the ancients, it wasn't simply about right and wrong behavior, good and bad conduct. It was a much more overarching question concerning the good life. So when we do ethics, we're not asking the question only, how should I behave, or what's my duty to this person or to that person? We're asking the question, how can I be happy? How can I flourish? How can I have a fulfilling life? For the ancients, the questions of physics, of psychology, of politics, of ethics were all intertwined and overlapping with one another in ways that are unfamiliar to us now, since we tend to compartmentalize these disciplines much more than they ever did. Keep that in mind when we move to Epicurus, when we move to Lucretius and the Stoics, the first great systematizers that we're going to be viewing, because they had a holistic view of the world and a way of understanding human nature and the good life which fitted within that.